How's it going, Confidence 2? It has been a long time, and that's what this video is kind of all about. I'm making dinner here, so I'm just gonna walk you through what I'm doing for dinner super quick. I'm just gonna make this, and while we're making the food, I'm gonna talk about where I've been, why the content slipped over here, and things of that nature. You know, this channel was created just so I could talk about my life and show you guys what I do outside of gaming. That was the whole point of this channel. And to be honest, when I created the channel, I had the right idea. You know, at that time, I did actually have a life. I was working at Hobby Lobby, which was just a retail job, and I didn't think that I had time then. But you know, I did. I would get 2 days off a week, and everything was great. And I had time to show you guys kind of what I did outside of gaming. But for those of you that have followed me, you may know that I have switched careers. I'm no longer in retail. You know, my goal, and I've talked about this on a Cam Chat episode in the past, I believe, but the job at Hobby Lobby was always just a stepping stone job for me. I left my job as an office manager of a small company here in town. I can't give it away because I'll just give... It's a super small company. If I give you the name of the company, you'll be able to just call and harass them, and I'm not trying to do that. And maybe we can talk about how that job fucked me in later videos, but I left that job basically due to a few reasons. One being my boss was horrible there. And secondly, I just couldn't take sitting in an office anymore. It just wasn't for me, and I knew I needed to change a pace. So the farthest thing that I could think of was a job in retail. I'd never had a retail job before, so I went into Hobby Lobby, and that was always going to be a stepping stone. I knew that I wasn't going to stay with Hobby Lobby, but I did want to see if I was more happier in a role where I was more active. And it turned out that I was. So I obviously worked at Hobby Lobby and enjoyed what I did there for the most part. I mean, it wasn't my favorite job of all time, but I didn't absolutely dread going into work every day. And I have a whole video why I left Hobby Lobby that if you want to know why, you can check that video out. But yeah, transitioned from that to a much more physical job with the post office as a letter carrier. And then when I made that transition, that's when the video content on this channel came to a complete stop. So we switched camera angles because I'm about to start making my dinner. What I've got going here, I've got some onions and some mushrooms. I'm going to fry these up. And I've got some like deli meat style sliced ribeyes that I'm going to fry. I usually get these for myself because if I don't, like for example, my wife isn't home tonight. She's dog sitting. So normally when she's home, I will make, you know, normal full-size ribeyes and get them all nice and delicious. But if it's just me, I don't need that fancy shit, and I can go with cheaper cuts. So I'm just gonna make all of these. I'll save some for later that I can just warm up. But these are like so fucking fast to make, and it's just super easy. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I've got half of them seasoned with Cavender's Greek seasoning. Absolutely delicious. If you've not tried this before, I highly recommend this. I use this on shrimp. I use it on steak, I use it on chicken, I use this on anything that it can go on. So half of them are seasoned with my favorite Cavender's, and the other half are seasoned with just salt and pepper, which is just kind of a standard steak seasoning. So got the cast iron here for our sizzle steaks. We're gonna sizzle these in here, and this pan over here is gonna be for our sauteed mushrooms and onions. So I need to grab some butter so we can get this stuff moving along. So let me grab that, and then we'll get back to our conversation about work and why we are where we are. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my cast iron going really hot. So I'm gonna turn this on, make sure the handle's pointing away from you. You don't wanna touch this thing. So I want this to be nice and hot so it'll just make the cooking process even faster. And then I'm gonna go ahead and drop just a whole half a stick of butter into this pan here, and that's what we're going to saute our onions in. So we're going to get that melted down. Butter can melt, so you don't want to cook this super high. You just want to kind of baby it. But obviously, butter is not healthy for you. If you want to do this properly, do like a half a stick of butter, so like a quarter of a stick of butter, a half. So do like a quarter of a stick of butter and use olive oil instead. That would be a little bit more healthy than using half a stick of butter and cooking your mushrooms and onions and that, but that's just how I'm gonna do it today because I feels like it, okay? So there you go. I'm actually not gonna cook the steak in butter. I will use olive oil for the steak, so I'm not gonna use this half. But I mean, this is nice to do as well because if you get a thicker piece of meat, you have to let it sit in the seasoning for like an hour, a couple hours. That way it takes in all of that flavor. With these little thin cuts, you can just season them and cook them, and they're so thin that they'll just take in the flavor right away. You don't have to worry about it. So anyways, we got our butter melting. I'm gonna drop our mushrooms in, and I'm gonna add our onions as well. So here's the key to sauteing mushrooms and making sure that the mushrooms take in flavor. You want to make sure that you wait till the mushrooms release all of their water before adding any seasoning to the mushrooms. So you'll see that as we go. These have quite a ways to go, so we're not going to really worry about these too much. Could have used a bigger pan. Probably will transfer to a bigger pan, actually. It's a little crowded for me. So I'm going to transfer it into this pan. Well, it's not so crowded. Oh, shit. Dirty in pans. All right, so since we got these mushrooms working, our pan is steaming fucking hot already. This is a good time to just continue where we were talking about the career change. So I didn't necessarily know what the post office was going to be like. I just knew that it was a much better opportunity with higher pay, but I didn't know much going in. I don't have anybody in my family that carries mail. Well, that's not necessarily true. My great grandfather was a letter carrier, but I didn't have a lot of conversation with my great grandfather before he passed, especially about work. And I had no conversations with him about his career and things of that nature. So I had no clue what I was getting myself into. I just knew that it was a better opportunity. But essentially, what has come of that is I just checked, and I've been employed with the post office for 81 days. And in those 81 days, I have had a total of 5 days off. That's it, 5 days, which sounds really bad if you're used to a 5-day work week. And I was not anticipating having to work, 15-day stretches with 1 day off. That came as a surprise to me for sure. But when you have that type of a schedule, and you're married and you have animals and you have other responsibilities, my wife will always come first no matter what. So I'm working 10 to 12 hours a day, 15 days straight. When I get off of work, I want to spend time with the woman that I love, and that's what I do. And there's nothing like this channel is all designed about being a vlog and a lifestyle channel and talking to you guys and showing you guys what I do outside of gaming, technically, because I have the gaming channel that I've been working on for years and years and years, and this was just supposed to be like my creative outlet channel. But the problem is, I don't have a creative I don't have a life. So trying to make lifestyle content when you don't have a life is a little bit challenging. So yeah, basically I get off work around somewhere between 6 and 8 o'clock at night. I typically then spend time with my wife, making dinner or going out to eat or whatever it may be, just making sure that I get quality time with her. And then after that, I'm usually pretty well ready for bed. So it's not like I'm just neglecting the channel. It's just I'm not doing anything. At least I'm not doing anything that I think would be entertaining for a YouTube channel, for example. So that makes it very hard to obviously make content here. All right, let's get some of these steaks on. Oh, yeah. And these are literally going to take like 2 minutes. Like no time at all. Because they're so thin. Well, that's fucking not going very well, is it? Guess we're just gonna have some strip steak. I don't know. They're just falling apart on me. That's all right though. These are thin cut ribeye, so they're really fatty. That's why they're falling apart. You can get just sizzle steaks, and sizzle steaks will hold their shape a little bit better than these are currently. So that's something you can get if you don't want like strips of meat like this. This is just meat, so it's good for the dogs too, so I'll probably give the dogs some as well. Good stuff. Sizzle steaks like this are really good for steak and eggs in the morning too. Another really good thing you can do with them. All right, just like that. I'm going to transfer my mushrooms right on top. Bada bing, bada boom. Right there. Cheap ass like steakhouse type of dinner. So we're going to let this cool and then we'll continue our conversation, all right? All right, so here's our like slop with our mushrooms and just the steak down below there. Obviously not gourmet, but if you're a carnivore like me and you like steak and you like meat and you like mushrooms and onions, it definitely does the job and tastes really good. So it's worth a shot if you don't have a lot of time. So anyways, like we were saying, it's just been really hard to find the time to do anything fun. I'm not doing anything when I get home that's worth filming. I'm just watching TV and hanging out with the dogs and the family, and that's it. So hopefully soon I'll be getting on a more regular schedule, and once that happens, we'll do some more fun stuff here on the channel, and we'll kind of go from there. But for now, we just kind of have to keep rocking as we are, and I just want you guys to know that more content is coming soon whenever I get converted to a regular carrier and have time off. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me. I apologize for everything, but if you do want to see my content, I am uploading regularly on the gaming channel as best as I can, so go over there and watch that if you're interested. Let me know what you think of those videos. If not, hang tight. I will be back with you guys as soon as I possibly can. So until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you later.
You guys like some steak? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Is that good?
Dogs approve? Yeah, they approve.